Yeah, thank you, Richel. First, I was very happy na si Colonel Kerubin came to visit me. And I want to say to him and also sa mga taga Lanao del Norte, the reason why I accepted his visit is, he spent time here in our province. And he defended the people of Lanao del Norte. So para sa akin, may utang na loob kami para sa kanya. And when the time comes, I hope this coming election, people will not forget his sacrifice. Pero masaya rin yung usapan namin because it was not only about war. We were also discussing yung mga problems ng bayan namin. When I was provincial governor, nakita ko yung mga problema sa ground. But working in Congress, iba na yan. You see the national picture. So parang yung battleground ni Colonel Kerubin, from the field, he wants to go to the Senate. Iba na yung usapan yan. Sometimes you can get frustrated dahil no matter how much you fight, walang gumagalaw, but you need to have persistence in that. And we need that because there are certain issues that you cannot solve within one term. You have to remind the people, the nation, of the importance of our territorial integrity. For example, yung problema ng West Philippine Sea. He's the only one. Among the different candidates in the Senate, he's the only one that really understands it the most. Yung bagong problema namin, cyber terrorism. Can you imagine our hearings in Congress that our internet is actually not under our control, parang ganyan? And we lack legislation and also expertise in ensuring that we won't be hacked, especially from other nations. So these are things that we discussed. But on the brighter side, we also discussed yung mga ibang advocacies niya. And it's nice to know na si Colonel Kerubin also has a background when it comes to provincial life, agriculture, and then also nakita niya yung dating battlegrounds niya like Basilan, Tawi-Tawi, Zamboanga, Marawi, dahil tahimik na because we have the peace process with the MILF and the Bangsamoro. All those hotspots became tourist areas. So I think his return and his campaign in Mindanao also gave him inspiration to be hopefully one of our spokespersons when it comes to tourism. So we're very happy to have him here. Sana lang we will show our support to Colonel Kerubin when the time comes, especially when we start the local campaign. So this is my message to the people of Lanao del Norte. I hope we will not forget our good friend, someone who defended our province and sacrificed himself and his men also to make sure our province will be peaceful and safe.
Idagdag na natin dito.
Oh. There's a reason why 6 lang yan. Inahanap pa namin yung remaining 6.
The first question will come from Roy Burlado, Brigada.
Magandang hapon po, Colonel Ariel Kerubin at saka ang Congressman Galing Mapuro. Siguro yung unang tanong ko i-address ko kay Colonel. Alam naman siguro sa lahat ngayon, mga Pilipino, na tumitindi ngayon ang tensyon ng West Philippine Sea. Sakali po kayo'y mahalal bilang senador. Ano kaya ang mga possible solusyon nito? Ito ba'y dapat girahin na yung iganting China o ano ba ang pwedeng mga paraan para kumalma yung krisis?
Yeah, yung problem natin sa West Philippine Sea, part of that I was able to narrate yung aking pinagdaanan, yung history kay Congressman Khalid kanina. Ang labanan dito ngayon sa na masyado tayong napako noon sa internal problem natin, yung insurgency na yan. So we lost our focus sa external, no? Pero dahil sa nangyari ngayon na slowly, dahil nga wala na tayong rebelde, di ba? Wala namang insurgency, partly na-solve na natin itong problem natin sa secession. So nag-shift na tayo sa external problem natin. Kaso, pag pumunta ka dito, makikita mo it's all preponderance of forces. Wala tayong pwersa. Galing kami ng West Philippine Sea, Pag-asa, kasama namin doon yung ibang mga congressmen ba, led by Congresswoman Rachel Arenas. At nakita ko, even sa pagkuha namin ng mga, yung mga pictures doon, ang background namin, yung China Coast Guard na ships, militia ships. So, it's all preponderance of forces. Mahigit 100 na barko ng China na andon. Tayo, 3, 4. So, anong doon, no? Timing lang yung pagkakapasa o pagpirma ng ating mahal na Pangulo doon sa Self-Reliance Defense Posture Revitalization Act. Ito kasi yung mag-umpisa sa atin uli na dapat matuto tayong tumindig on our own. Kasi ang nakikita ko, hindi tayo dapat dependent sa kahit na sinong superpower. Dahil kung tayo, marunong tayong tumindig on our own, we can get more concessions. So ito ngayon na mag-uumpisa na maniwala ba kayo, even bala natin ng 105, we have to import. No? Yung paggawa ng mga barko, for example, ang dami natin pwedeng paggawa ng barko sa Cebu, meron sa Subic, pero hindi sa atin yon, di ba? So with this now, mag-umpisa na tayo na unti-unti natitindig on our own. Sa ngayon kasi, sa situation natin, wala rin tayo ibang option kundi to look for a big brother. Ito ngayon yung nangyayari na sitwasyon natin. Binubuli ka ng isang superpower, you have to look for a big brother na pwede mong sandalan. Pero hindi ito yung forever na ano. So ang gawin natin, umpisa natin, no, we have to really allocate more funds probably dun sa mga defense and security forces. No, kailangan natin maparami yung mga barko natin, ma-modernize natin, lahat ba? Hanggang sa darating tayo sa punto na hindi na tayo na kaya nilang ibuli. Sa ngayon, wala tayong iba, kundi maghanap tayo, kaya ang ginagawa natin ngayon is dinadaan natin sa diplomacy. At maganda rin yung nangyayari na naging transparent, di ba? Ino-open natin. Kaya mapansin mo yung ibang mga bansa nagsisimpatay sa atin. Tapos ngayon, maganda rin yung nangyayari na we conduct drills, no, with other countries. Yun kasi ang nakakayanan natin ngayon, no? Nobody wants war. Not even China gusto ng gera, no? Lalong-lalo na tayo kasi, di ba, we renounce war. So, ganun din. Pero ito, no? Ano ko na rin lang. Kasi when push comes to shove, we must have a robust reserve force. Dito papasok yung ating ROTC na yan, kasi yan ang magiging core ng ating reserve force. Pero ngayon kasi, hindi nga tinabi muna sa Senado dahil hindi ko maintindihan din. Kailangan lang siguro nila na isang senador na magpupush nito. Kasi yun ang kailangan natin ngayon. No? Nasa armed forces tayo noon. Ang sabi namin, the armed forces sa modernization, a lean and mean armed forces, but a robust reserve force. Hindi natin na-achieve to dahil pumutok nga itong insurgency problem natin. Instead na mapaliit natin yung armed forces, lumaki lalo. Di ba? At nawala na yung ROTC na yan. Kung ayaw nila yung ROTC na puro military, then baguhin natin yung program of instruction. Gawin natin na pwede na rin natin pasukan yan ng disaster response or disaster relief operations. Yung mga ibang bagay na hindi lang puro military. Para yun naman ibang mga kapatid natin, ayaw nila yung ganun na approach dyan sa ROTC na yan. Kasi noon, kaya daw nila inabolish yan, yung ROTC. Kasi nga, may hazing daw, meron daw ganito. They wanted to kill a cat, but instead, they burned the house. yung daga lang yung gusto yung patayin nila, yung buong ano. So, dapat maibalik natin yon.
So, sir, isa ba ito sa main agenda mo, yung pag-restore ng ROTC?
Isa yan, no? Isa yan. Pero yun talagang, ang una dyan na ano, natin, gagawin natin, no? If, importante kasi na ma-modernize natin, no? Yung security and defense forces dito. Marami kasi nung nangyari noon na napunta sa lahat sa internal concerns natin, internal problems, yung modernization napunta sa ground force, no? Partly, yung Marines diyan nakinabang. Yung Army ang talagang nakinabang doon sa nangyari, di ba? Pero napabayaan natin yung Air Force, yung Navy, and even yung Maritime ng PNP. Even ngayon, sabi ko nga, kung ang China, for example, may mga militia ships sila na nagkukunwari ng mga fishing vessels, pwede rin natin, yung BIFAR natin, pwede rin natin bigyan sila ng suporta para naman, sila rin yung kasama na nagpapatrolya dyan.
Salamat po.
Yes.
Sir, we're talking about MILF. Sa ngayon kasi ang BARM ay nag-check sila parang nagpalit sila ng Chief Minister. Ano po yung nakikita yung in the future nito? Although kasi pinalitan si Ibrahim ni Makafwa. Ano po yung masasabi niya dito?
Well, sana sabi ko nga, hindi sana yung mangyari ba yung nakikita namin na naging problema rin ng lahat ng di ba? Noon kasi, nag-umpisa lahat yan sa MNLF, di ba? Nagkaroon ng breakaway, nagkaroon ng MILF, nagkaroon I hope ba dito sa mga changing of the guard, so yung palitan na yan, wala naman mag-emerge sana na mag-breakaway uli. Sana naman wala. No? At yung mga ganyan na palitan kasi, that's internal to them, di ba? At hayaan natin na kung yan yung nangyayari na evolution sa kanila, pagbigyan natin, natin sa kanila yan kasi, di ba, yun naman ang gusto nila, autonomy.
Para kay Congressman Khalid.
Ay.
Sa atin kasi very tayo niyan kasi tayo ang parating inaatake ng iba. Ano po yung masasabi niyo dyan, sir?
Well, first, nobody should worry about the change of leadership kasi it has passed through the approval of OPAP. No? And Secretary Galvez has also been working to ensure that our provinces will not go back to the state of war. No? So the change of leadership is maybe they have internal issues within the MILF. Ang pinaka-importante para sa amin lahat is to see what will happen with the Bangsamoro election because that's really what we're waiting for. Tapos in the Bangsamoro election, the people of the Bangsamoro have to elect their leaders. Na yan ang question. Will the people elect the MILF, I think it's called the UBJCP, UBJP, no? To lead the Bangsamoro for another term. Yan ang pinaka-integral na question that needs to be answered. And only the people of the Bangsamoro can answer that. So change of leadership, insignificant yan. Ang pinaka-importante, anong mangyayari sa what is the outcome of the Bangsamoro election which has been postponed to October. So maybe Galvez or the administration sees that Makakua is maybe a little bit more fit or maybe more hands-on dahil he came from being provincial governor in putting together the machinery needed para mananalo sila next year. We'll see. So it will be interesting for us in the region dahil alam na namin it will be the traditional politicians versus the Bangsamoro leadership.
Aside from Colonel Kerubin na napili mo, ano po yung mga nakita mo sa isang senatorial candidate na pwede mo siyang isali, suportahan dito sa...
We have maraming kaibigan kami sa that's running for the Senate, no. And yung sa akin lang is, well, we want to keep our doors open. As I want and also to let the people choose. Pero as a group, our style dito sa Lanao del Norte, as much as possible, we're united on the political front. No? So we will need the consensus of the mayors under Team Quibran sa Dimaporo, Gob Angging, and also my sister Sisi Tiamina to finalize who our 12 senators will be. As of now, nakita mo yung 6, and then we're going to look for the other 6. Normally, ang style namin is yung 6 is from the party. Tapos, the remaining 6, 4 is the common candidates of all the mayors. Tapos, the last 2 will be individual choices per municipality. So, we haven't had our party meeting yet, pero malalaman mo by the time local campaign starts who our 12 senators will be. And it's nice to see Colonel Quirubin kasi I only see him in yung TikTok ko. And then, para sa akin, I served when the MILF attacked us, no, because of the MOA AD. So I really have, high regards to our men in uniform. So, he's someone I've been, seeing in my social media. I'm very happy to see him. First time na nag-meet kami and to at least talk to each other personally. So at least alam ko na yung mga advocacies niya and how he can help Lanao del Norte, not only in peace and order and security, but also in other aspects of governance, tourism, education, and agriculture.
Yeah.
Sir, saan na po tayo sa campaign natin?
Well, maganda nga kasi dahil I've started it early. I've been going around the country, at first feeling the pulse of the people, until last July 8. Around 2,000 retired men in uniform signed a manifesto to support my candidacy. So that was the time ba na nag-decide na ako na tumakbo. July 8, 2024. Yung mga signatories dito kasi, 25 of whom were 4-star generals, no? The likes of General Ibdani, Roy Simato there, Benji Defensor, even Junicio Santiago, Alex Yano, Vic Ebrado, and many more. Some of those who signed that manifesto are public servants, but they belong to different political parties. And they told me, sabi ni, standing as their spokesperson was General Aurelio. Ariel, we stand united with you to fight corruption, uplift the living conditions of the poor, and protect our sovereignty. We see in you somebody who can unite the Filipino people. But of course, what is standing on is, are you ready to leave your comfort zone? And what did I tell him? I told, sir, ang pagmamahal po natin sa bayan, sa taong bayan, hindi po kayang tumbasan ng pera. Tinatanggap ko po yung hamon ninyo. So, yun yung I was, of course, when I filed for my certificate of candidacy, unlike the other candidates who came in buses o yung mga supporters nila, ang sa akin naman dumating doon yung mga generals ba in their own private vehicles. Mayor Benji Magalong who braved the rain, so came from Baguio City to accompany my filing. So nakakatuwa lang na meron mga grupo na mga men in uniform na they'll get out of their way, no, para lang itulak yung pagkandida. Kung ang tanong niyo nasaan ako ngayon, well, I have yet to increase my awareness, but hopefully with this opportunity that was given by Kong Khalid, no, this will help me a lot, especially dito sa sa part ba ng Mindanao na kung saan naman nagbuwis sa mga tao ko ng buhay nila. I almost got killed here. So ito lang din yung pwede ko maipangako sa inyo na since this is part of my journey, hindi ko pwedeng kalimutan ang Lanao del Norte sa aking sabihin na natin, kung papala rin tayo later on, makakaasa kayo sa Ariel Querubin, no? Para na rin akong inyo talaga, tumira ako rito, naramdaman ko, I have seen and felt a lot of sufferings while I was here.
Yung apelido mo, Colonel, is a biblical, di ba?
Ayan, Querubin. Yeah, ang Querubin kasi anghel yan.
Yeah.
Yung Ariel din, no? Lion of God ba yan? So, ano rin, no? Yun lang mukhang Ariel talagang berdugo. Mukhang no? Hindi mo masabi na...
Panindigan mo yan, full
Sir,
name mo.
mensahe mo po sa mga tao dito sa Lanao del Norte.
Well, eto lang, no? Wala naman akong pwedeng maibahagi sa kanila na pagka tayo pinaghaluban na mahal na Panginoon at pahintulutan tayo ng taong bayan, especially yung ating mga mahal na kababayan dito sa Lanao del Norte, no? Na sabi ko nga, nasubukan ko na mamuhay dito lahat. So alam ko yung problema natin at makakaasa kayo, no? Sa pagka mayroong, sabi nga nila, Ariel, isa kang bayani, no? Buhay na bayani. Ang sabi ko, lahat po tayo, hindi ako lang ang bayani. Bayani tayong lahat, no? Lahat ng ating kababayan dito sa Lanao del Norte, bayani tayong lahat. At ito po yung pwede ko masabi, kung ilang ulit ako, no, namuntik mamatay, namatay ako, paulit-ulit kong gagawin ito. Magpapakamatay ako para sa taong bayan, para sa minamahal ko mga kababayan dito sa Lanao del Norte.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I got this to you, Congressman. Sir, Ilan, I am very confident na ikaw na naman ang mamumuno sa lalawigan natin. Di ba, our province, we really love our province because this is the land of beauty and fountain.
Yeah.
Land of the brave heart. It's Congressman. Congressman, ano pang pwede nating gawin once you will be the next governor again? Ano pang dapat gawin natin sa Lanao del Norte na lalo nang mapanindigan natin ng ating the land of beauty and fountain?
Well, development is a long-term process. And I believe Vision 2020 was a very nice vision for Lanao del Norte to be a globally industrial, province, ecology conscious, and then the most important part of Vision 2020 was prosperity and equity. And when you say prosperity and equity, that means dapat we shouldn't have impoverished areas in Lanao del Norte. So if you see our province sa coastal, parang okay na. I mean, you have Kauswagan with the GN power plant, and then they're booming. Linamon is also booming. Si Bacolod has new facilities like the bus terminal, commercial center. Tapos they have the Liangan Hydro. Hopefully that will bring additional private sector activities there. Tapos sa Maigo, Paeng is trying to make it the new Maranding of the first district, parang ganyan. So hopefully we also have our MSU there. Then you go to Kulambugan, And then here in Tubod, the Pangal Bay Bridge is already completed. No? And then you have Gaisano and Jollibee and all these other developments. And then you continue pa to Kapatagan Valley. So the coastal's okay. Ang kulang is sa interior. And the first thing to do is to build the roads connecting the Iligan Aurora National Highway to the interior. So malaking tulong yung partnership between the 1st and 2nd District and the provincial government. And the very critical there is the interior circumferential highway, completing it. Once we have that, once we have good roads and good access na to the interior municipalities, the next step is public service. So yung mga super health centers, yung mga making sure that all of the classrooms are, schools, elementary schools are complete with their classrooms, teachers, etc. These are things that we work together with our congressional partners. So for me, coming from Congress back down to Governor, nakita ko na yung laro nila sa taas. So, I can orchestrate better with Siti Amina and also with my mom when I sit back in the Capitol, in God willing. No? And then, always, for us also, it's not something starting something new. It's sustaining what our predecessors have already done. So, that's one plus that we have here in Lanao del Norte. Peace and development is a long-term goal. And what we have is sustainability because yung ginawa ng mami ko, itutuloy ko rin yan. No? I will not stop that. Anong ginawa ko sa panahon ko as governor, tinuloy rin ng mami ko. So we keep continuing our public service. And
Ano nakita mong opportunities sa masustain natin yung, masubstantiate natin yung pagbuo ng BIMP Yagaswan?
The BMP Yaga, really the best place for growth would be Sultan Naga Dimaporo. Kasi there's a port there that kung my dad, kung Bobby was working on, and he wanted that to be an international port. So hopefully we can develop Sultan Naga Dimaporo to be also a halal processing hub. And then hopefully we can get the proper port facilities. And then hopefully also, since it's a Muslim territory, get investors from the BIMP Yaga area. Pero ang critical dyan is energy because electricity is not stable in SND. So if you can put up like a nice solar power plant, wind power plant, baka we can attract investors there.
Yung tandem ng Nunungan at SND is, nakita ko, it's highly fertile land. Ano bang sa tingin mo, Congressman, magkaroon tayo sustainable agri-tourism? Well,
Yung area na yan, we have to be careful kasi that is our last remaining virgin forest. Before na when my mom was governor, pumunta ka sa sa boundary ng Nunungan, that's dense forest. Ayun, wala na. It's all the pushed back na to Lake Nunungan, no? So if you push pure agriculture there, puputulin nila yung virgin forest. So you have to look into agroforestry, and then you also have to look into preserving what's left of the of our virgin forest. We're partner during the time of Go Bangging. Go Bangging actually was working with GN Power Plant on how they can better protect what's left of our virgin forest by partnering with GN Power, and then I think they were planning on packaging it for carbon credits so that it will help finance the security, yung mga rangers, and then the livelihood and so forth. These things we can work on better with the proper team sa Capitol and then finding partners that can help preserve us. So para sa akin, it's not developing Nunungan and SND. The most important there is protecting the forest. Kasi that's also our watershed.
correct. Parang, it's the last frontier of Lanao del Norte. Now, dito tayo, balik tayo sa Pangal Bay, Congressman. May report na I believe you have received this report na medyo silted ang Pangal Bay. Ano kayang possible approach once you will be again the governor of Lanao del Norte? Parang ano bang approach natin na mabuhay uli yung mga tinatawag natin marine life na dito ang unique ang Pangal Bay Colonel. Kasi dahil sa rich ang nutrients, iba ang kalidad ng marine life sa Pangilinan na as much as possible, hindi pwede mawala yung nutrients sa Panguil Bay para yung livelihood ng opportunity sa both coastal and inland will be stabilized.
Yeah. Well, there's short term and long term also with that. Yung short term, dredging to solve the siltation problem. Yung long term is we need to reforest yung highlands of Lanao del Norte. Actually, yung problema ng siltation goes all the way to Lanao Sur. Kasi pinuputol na nila yung kahoy dyan sa Lanao Sur. So, yeah, agroforestry is one way of doing it. Commercial timber is another way of doing it. But the most important thing is to reforest the hinterlands of the province.
May isa akong concern, Congressman. Medyo parang nasuspend muna. Di ba may direction ng province na clearing operation sa National Highway. Yet you can still see na-widen na yung ibang part ng National Highway pero hindi na parang na-suspend ang expansion kasi ang daming mga nag-double parking, yung mga naninda sa malapit sa road right of way. So, may challenge ang bawat LGU, lalo na sa coastal area, na dapat maklear. Ano bang directive mo in the near future once you will set as the next governor sa Lanao del Norte para yung highway natin ay ma-improve ang daloy ng traffic movement at kasi yung Panguil Bay Bridge is very vital sa economy.
Well, we'll see. I haven't seen so much problems sa totoo lang, the traffic that I've seen is from the reblocking of DPWH. Hindi masyado sa mga parking, no. But I think that's a problem more on the second district sa Lala area. Na even doon na dahil you're very dense commercial area, maraming nagpa-parking sa highway. But I don't see it so much dito. But if it becomes a problem, I think the issue there would be the policing of yung mga cars. And we'll have to sit together with our PNP, yung mga traffic enforcers, highway patrol, LTO, on how we can provide the necessary provincial ordinance so that they will be empowered para matanggal nila yung mga parking. We have to deem that type of parking illegal. So we'll have to study it. No?
Sa coastal area kasi palapit ng election.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Congressman. Can I shift to Colonel Carmen? Sir, I am hoping that in due time, pang-pito ka rito. Para 5 na lang ang kulang. Mayroon na mga... anyway, Colonel, looking back sa ROTC, yung system sa training ng ROTC, ako, graduate ako ng ROTC, matinding training ko sa ROTC during my college days, 2 years in Visayas, no? Sa University of the Visayas, PCROTC kami noon. And I'm part of the model platoon that will be part of the foyer, yung mga mag-welcome sa mga VIP. Ang baril namin is garan. Bala na lang bulat, pero you're not allowed. How can we improve the ROTC training kung kahoy lang ang baril ng hawakan ng mga estudyante na hindi nila maranasan yung gapang sa kanal, yung escape and evasion, hindi na nila maranasan. At I agree yung disaster response, importante yun. Any reaction to that?
Well, sa akin kasi ang pinaka-importante diyan hindi na yung hindi man masyado doon sa military training na kundi alam mo ba yung mga estudyante ng ROTC natin na dumadaan sa mga leadership courses na to, even ang sa akin kasi napaka-importante ba mabigyan sila ng tama na gabay para maging mahuhusay sila na leaders. At una-una yung discipline ba, kasi dito sa pagiging ROTC, no, nung pag dumaan ka diyan, 'di ba, idadaan ka, isa-subject ka, didisiplinahin ka, bibigyan ka talaga ng mga tama na para maging mahusay ka na maging leader. Kasi later on, even if you decide later on na wag pumasok sa military, for example, easily, pagka napunta ka sa corporate, ang ganda ng foundation mo, mahusay ka na leader, na andun sa iyo yung disiplina ba. At yung paghahawak ng mga baril, later on, depende na rin kasi yan sa ano rin natin, no? Dahil hindi mo makaya lahat na mabigyan ng armas nga, even yung mga KAFU, for example, di ba? Problema rin natin yan. So, depende rin yan sa maging kinahidatnan ng economy natin. Kung mag-improve tayo lahat, even yung mga reservists natin, for example, maniwala ka, yung mga reservists nga natin, hindi rin sila nakahawak ng tunay na baril. And ang masama dito, yung mga reservists natin, makita mo, instead na train sila properly yung sinasabi ko na yung military training, nabigyan sila ng they're equipped now with being a good leader, nandun yung disiplina nila. Would you believe, karamihan sa kanila mga artista, mga singers na wala naman tayong maganda nga na nahikayat natin sila na maging reservist. Pero sana yung totoo talaga na pagka when push comes to shove, na andyan sila na magpapakamatay din gaya ng ginagawa ng Ariel Querubin, na kaya magpakamatay para sa bansa.
How would you assess yung anti-drug campaign President administration?
Well, kasi kung maalala ninyo noong 2016, may isang kandidato noon na sa debate sa Cebu, nabanggit yung pangalan natin. Meron akong mahusay, may kakilala ko na mahusay na opisyal. Ang sabi niya, yung Colonel Querubin nga, no? I would have been the anti-crime czar at that time, noong 2016. Kasi yung drug menace has become a national security concern. So at that time, kung natuloy sana siya na naging presidente, yun yung unang pagkakataon sana na yung Ariel Querubin naging Secretary of National Defense. Kasi ang alam ba ninyo na yung problem on drugs, no, hindi kakayanin lang ng pulis yan. Hindi lang kaya ng PIDEA o ano. Yun yung nakikita noon nila na, would you believe, di ba? Out of exasperation, wala na, hindi na president si President Duterte nung nasabi niya na alisin daw yung sa drugs ba ibigay na sa military. Kasi maaring may nakita siya na kakulangan, no? Ito rin yung pwede ko masabi kasi sa totoo lang kukunti pa lang din yung na-address natin na kung ako, kunwari, I really would want ba na yung source ng drugs, yun na-address natin. Kasi sa totoo lang, yung source hindi natin na-address Yung source ng drugs. And yun nga, yung nakita, i-connect ko rin yan dun sa West Philippine Sea na yan, na yung Mischief Reef na yan, is a very, very ideal transshipment point not only for firearms but for illegal drugs. Makikita ninyo kung minsan yung nakikita natin na palutang-lutang dyan, may Chinese character Diba? So, yun ang tutukan natin, no? The source.
Congressman, can we have your parting statement?
Well, again, I'd like to thank Colonel Kerubin for his visit here in our office, and to our media friends to help spread the news na may kaibigan kami running for the Senate this May. I hope you won't forget Colonel Kerubin for Senator. What's your number pala?
Number 52.
Number 52. So yeah, and that's something that we'll be working on also this coming when the local campaign starts. And this is just a gesture on my behalf to tell the people of Lanao del Norte na Colonel Kerubin is our friend.
Colonel, your parting statement, sir.
Yeah, first of all, I just would like to thank Congressman Khalid here for this opportunity. And again, I'd like to thank my friends from the media for this reunion. You know, I still can remember when they tried to render me irrelevant. It was my friends from the media who kept the fire burning, and thank you very much for that. And rest assured that if ever, God willing, I'll become a senator, hindi ko po kayo makakalimutan dito sa Lanao del Norte. Parte po kayo ng buhay ko. And makakaasa kayo, no, sa Ariel Kerubin na kaagapay ninyo, kasama ninyo, no, sa pagprogreso dito sa Lanao del Norte. At tutulong po tayo sa abot na ating makakaya. Gaya ho natin na noon ay nakapag-buwis tayo ng buhay, ibinis natin ang buhay natin dito, paulit-ulit ko pa rin yung gagawin sa aking mga kababayan dito sa Lanao del Norte.